Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host, joined by Mr. Dan Welch, my co-host, my buddy, my pal. What's up, Dan?
Oh, Adam, good to be back on. I know I've taken a few days off, but it was well needed after a grueling tax season, even though it's not quite done yet. But
still more to go. That tax deadline's been extended here in the States.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I love it when that happens.
Alrighty, Dan.
Sorry.
Dan.
I was just going to say how much I've been displeased by the FunSpark tournament results.
We'll get there. Let's
Okay.
go over our super duper big announcement, and then we'll get into you and I tilting like crazy over this ridiculous tournament. Well, not ridiculous, just the ridiculous results as the folks can see here on the screen. Anyway. Alright, Dan, are you ready for the big announcement?
Yes.
You ready?
Let's do
Pumped. You excited? You ready?
Fucking pumped.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast, sponsored by PrizePicks. That is our big announcement. We are happy to announce that the CSGO Clutch Podcast and PrizePicks, we are now working together. We have an official sponsorship from them. So, we're working together, Dan. We love the PrizePicks product. We really do. Yeah. I know you and I are both big fans of it. And one thing led to another. And they are sponsoring the CSGO Clutch Podcast. So we are happy to be partnering alongside of them. And we're happy to have them as the sponsor of the CSGO Clutch Podcast. First sponsor of hopefully many, Dan. But you know, PrizePicks is something that actually you got me into. So why don't you tell us, Dan, a little bit about what PrizePicks is. And I'm just going to go hit to their website. And we can briefly talk about it. So go ahead. Tell us a little bit about PrizePicks.
Sure. So I was trying to get some, some tips, and I ended up going to the FTN website, and I got on their Discord. I'm just going through the whole story, and they had a PrizePicks section in their Discord. So I started listening in, and I checked out the site. And I saw how simple it was, and what I really liked about it was that there was no, you're playing against the house. You're not. There's no big sharks. There's just you and your best guess. I think with some good information or some good research that you can do quite well on PrizePicks. But yeah, I think the simplicity of it, and that makes it, I don't find myself like staring at my app like I do with Draftkings sometimes.
You don't find yourself tilting every time like Config decides he wants to go, oh look, I'm going to get frag 3 rounds, and then, oh look, 3K, 4K, 5K, 3K, another 4K, and him just going off like he did on Dust 2. We'll get there. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
I'm not tilting at all over this last slate!
It was awful.
Anyway, more about our sponsor, PrizePicks. The tilts come later.
PrizePicks.
Tilts come later.
So, dude, you're killing me. So, PrizePicks, yeah, a lot of fun. Very easy, very simple, and it removes the the big shark aspect of DFS. And one more thing is that like the betting structure is pretty simple, and I actually kind of liked it because if you select, you can pick 2, you can pick 3, you can pick 4, you can pick 5, and depending on how many you try to get right, it increases the payout. And
yep.
You can even get paid out if you don't get all of them correct, which is kind of nice.
Yep. So
I don't know, great product
for sure. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go over real quick with you guys. As we're recording this right now at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we don't have any CSGO content up yet. PrizePicks does post it, and they... Shout out to PrizePicks for the awesome CSGO product that they have, because it's not just Tier 1. We got Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. We got... If there are events going on, PrizePicks is covering it. I absolutely love their product. If you want to play Skade versus Trident, you can play Skade versus Trident if that's on the slate. Like, we have some amazing content, so if you're out there and you're super duper into, like, the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 stuff, and, like, there's a bunch of Tier 1 stuff going on, like, next week, Dan and I are going to be covering DreamHack, Prize Picks has got you covered. You get some Tier 2, you get some Tier 3. Plenty of stuff to bet on over here at Prize Picks. I really love their website. So I'm just taking, for example, NBA. So here's their format. So you have to pick at least 2. So let's go 1-2. Let's just say I want to pick John Morant and Luke Kennard. Okay? So we get Memphis versus the Clippers. This is NBA specific. I know, Counter-Strike podcast. Work with me here. Based on the scoring, which you can go, and it's nice and easy for you, Dan. The other thing I really like about Prize Picks, too, looking at it, bam, scoring chart. And you can take a look. So for NBA, it's 1 point for a point, 1.2 points for a rebound, 1.5 for an assist, 3 for a block, 3 for a steal, 1 for a turnover. Okay? John Morant is fantastic. Facing the Clippers. Clippers are a good defensive team. Do I think John Morant's going to get 38 points? More than 38? I'm going over. If I think he's going to get under, going under. So let's say, for example, I think Ja goes over tonight. And I go over to Luke Kennard, 30 points. It's Memphis, but Kennard doesn't use that much. At least last time I played NBA DFS, he wasn't used. I don't think he gets to 30. I'm going to go under. Bam. So now what you can do is you can put in a wager of however much in your bankroll. Okay? Versus, there were 2 different styles. This flex pay. Where if you get, in this format, just 2 correct picks, you get 2x. You must hit one of the 2 entries. This is the option, like, say, Dan, like, we get in a Counter-Strike. We want to do a 5-piece, but we're not too sure on, let's just say, one of our picks. Flex pay, great advantage for that. Because you only got to hit 4 or 5 to get paid anything. So let's just go with this 2-piece example. If I'm very confident, very, very confident about my picks, I'm going to power play. I can get 3x what I put in. But you have to hit everything in your entry. So let's just go, I want to play Zubac. I say he goes over. Bam. Flex pay. So now here we go again. 3 correct picks, pay 2.25%. 2 still gets you to profit, Dan. 2 correct picks get you 1.25, which is fantastic. Let's just say I want to go, I feel great. I'm going to go with Tillman. I think it's over 28. Against the Clippers, it's just Zubac. I think he goes over. Well, now you're in a really cool range. And you can see as the more players you add, the higher the payout totals go up. So for flex pay, for 4 players, you get 5x your entry. So you could enter 20, you could win 100. 3, you get 1.5. You want to go power play, you feel extremely confident about your 4 picks, you can win 200. You can turn 20 into 200. Again, like you said, only playing against the house. I'm not playing against Sharks. I'm not playing in this 200,000 person Millie Maker field, which I like playing in Millie Makers. But this is fantastic. If you're confident in a play and you've done your research, you've done your analysis, fantastic. When we go to 5 is the max you can play. You cannot play more than 5 picks allowed. You get a little error message up at the top right here that unfortunately you can't see on my screen at the moment. Working on that, folks. All right, so let's say I pick 5. The only option you get is flex play. If you nail all 5 of them, let's say I go Marcus Morris over, I'm going to get 10x. So you can't get more than 10x. Because if I go back to 4, still 10x on power play. Flex pay, you get all 5 right, you put it in, you get 10x. 4 correct picks, you get 2x. If you pick 5 and you get 3 right, you still get a little back. You don't get back your entry, but you get a little something, something. It's very easy. Dan and I, massive fans of the product. We're hoping to have some CSGO content up here before the end of the night, before the end of this podcast, rather. If we do not have the chance to get any CSGO content up on this podcast, what Dan and I are going to do for this specific slate, and we'll let you all know ahead of time, the prize pick segment we are going to have now every single podcast. It's going to be at the end of the show. Once we get through our, if we're talking Counter-Strike, we're talking some Counter-Strike news, our, previous day's winning lineup, our analysis, our core value, GPP, and team stack segment. Prize picks is going to be at the end. We want to talk everyone through the process, go over our favorite plays, and then we're going to talk about our prize picks. Now, everyone's had a chance to listen to the analysis, to hear what Dan and I's heads are at. If we were to give you this at the front, and, for example, Dan and I want to chit-chat and go, again, this happened a couple weeks ago. Dan talked me on to G2 over Furia. Dan cost me money. Dan got my bill. All right, I was all over Furia. Dan talked me on to G2. Dan got my bill. Still waiting for my check, sir. I'm kidding. But we want to do this as simple for all of you as possible. We really appreciate all the support you've been giving to the podcast. We're only trying to make this bigger and better. We're so happy with our partnership and sponsorship with Prize Picks. It's only going to make this podcast even better and better. So we're going to give you all Prize Picks at the end of every podcast for this specific podcast. Check out Dan and I's Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at AdamWX21. That's my Twitter. Dan's on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. We're in a couple of Discords. If you're listening to this coming from a Discord, we're in like Main Event Discord, we're in the Rotogrinders Discord, I'm in the Al Zeidenfeld Discord. Like, it doesn't matter, like, whatever, however you can get a hold of us. You want us to reach out to us on Twitter, ask some questions about Prize Picks. Hey, I'm thinking about playing X, Y, and Z. We're more than happy to give you opinions. It's up to you guys to make the best picks on Prize Picks that you can to make you all the most money. Dan, am I missing anything?
I just want to add one thing in that I think that
I'm awesome. You're welcome.
You're definitely awesome, Adam. That does not need to be said. But if you combine a Prize Picks strategy with a DFS strategy, you can sometimes Prize Picks will impact my DFS picks, because if I see, like, Xantares, for example, is they have him at the line is like 40, then I'm probably going to play Xantares in my DFS just because I trust that Prize Picks has a pretty good prediction system.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I use Prize Picks to influence my DFS picking.
Yep. And again, that's something Dan and I are going to take into consideration too as we go through our analysis. We're going to have a chance, hopefully, if there's, we're going to have a chance to look through those CSGO picks before the podcast. We'll have a chance to talk about it pre-show. And then what Dan and I are going to be able to do is tell you during our analysis if one of our picks in the Prize Picks segment really stands out and is influencing our decision or whatever. We're going to let you know of that during our analysis when we break it down on Draftkings. Right? So just give Dan and I some time to figure this out. We're going to try figuring this in, whatever makes it the best. And, leave a comment down below here on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think. Does it make sense this way? Does it not make sense this way? Would you like to see something differently? Dan and I are open to ideas, but right now, this is how it's going to be. We're going to go over, show pretty much everyone just so they understand. Prize Picks is coming at the very end of the podcast. Why? Because we want to get through the recap, learn, get through the analysis, study, go over our favorite picks, and then get into the Prize Picks segment once we've gone through everything and we can figure things out and really give all of you what we think is going to be the best Prize Picks. And Dan and I are not going to always, we're not going to always agree. For example, we have Virtus Pro on this slate. Let's say your Kindar comes out at 38.5. I could say over, Dan could say under. But we're going to give you the whys of why we think that. And in addition to that, you're going to already know the whys when we get through the Kindar breakdown on DraftKings. Because it's almost it's kind of similar to DraftKings in a way, Dan, isn't it?
What do you mean? I'm sorry. What's similar to DraftKings?
Prize Picks. I mean, like for Prize Picks, if we go here to the scoring chart, and we go over here to where's CSGO?
Are you talking about just scoring?
Yeah, so just scoring for Prize Picks. It's easy. It's easy. It's 1 point. It's 1 point per kill. If you get a team kill, you lose a point. That's it. That's simple.
Very simple. It's actually more predictable too. Mm-hmm. It's probably using statistics anyway. Maybe that's why they have it. It's because it's a little more predictable.
Yep, this is again, it's a simple product. I love it for CSGO. So again, if your Kindar is based at 38.5, I think he goes over 38.5 kills. I'm going to go over. If Dan thinks, no, not a chance, Habu's great, and he's going to pick the under. So it's going to be very easy to do this. And again, for those tier 2, tier 3, whatever happens to be running that day, the Prize Picks this content for, if something stands out to us, like let's just say, we're getting the Dream Hacker. Oh, Dignitas is playing in this tier 2 event. Halzerk's at 33.5. No, take Halzerk with the over. Like, we'll be able to give you all the breakdown. And we're very, very excited for this. We're very excited for our partnership with Prize Picks. I can continue to talk about how great the product is. We're gonna get some stuff up. We're very, very excited. And Dan, nothing else to add. We're going to get into the breakdown here. What do you think?
So I just got a little update. I was told that CSGO will be up before 11 p.m. on Prize Picks.
Fantastic.
So
you love to see it.
But, it's a little bit too late though.
No, not at all. I mean, Prize Picks people have stuff to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not at all. But again, we have a Twitter that's going to be released. We have that announcement coming later this week. So we're going to be posting different picks that we like through our Twitter. And that way there you all can follow us there and you can see the picks we like. We have other things that are planned. There'll be different ways to get these prize picks. You all can see where Dan and I are thinking for the different picks. Dan, what do you think? I think we should talk about the slate.
Let's do it.
All right. First things first. Now the tilting can begin! How did Forze get to the upper bracket final? How? They beat Virtus Pro 2-0 in Complexity 2-1.
Internet connection. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
Internet connection, my rear end.
It has to be. It's too inexplicable to be anything other than that.
I don't know what Virtus Pro were doing other than, and Dan, you made a good point. You were listening to HLTV Confirmed, and I think they said you were saying something about like Virtus Pro's been figured out. Tell us more about it.
Yep. Well, I mean, their strategy kind of revolves around Mr. Kinder's aggression and then him being successful. So if that doesn't work, then
he's like super Art. Art's aggressive, but like Yakinder has the epic fragging ability. But just like I was watching him with some of those games on Forza, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like,
he looked a little dumb on some of those.
It hasn't been working. Why are you still continuing? And again, I'm a relatively inexperienced Counter-Strike player. Silver rank, trying to get out of silver. But still, it's like I'm watching this play, and I'm like, I feel like it's the same strat. Yakinder Russian, Yakinder Russian, Yakinder Russian. They figured it out, and they're anti-stratting you. And then Virtus Pro ends up in these 4v5 situations. And I mean, look, Jame is a fantastic opper. I'm a fan of his. He's not an aggressive opper. He is a very passive opper and very calculated. So like, I don't know. Virtus, we could talk all about Virtus Pro when we actually cover it, but Forze and Extra Salt get to the upper bracket final. Whatever. Without words, Dan. What do you want to say?
I can tell you're speechless. I mean,
Dan, Virtus Pro lost 2-0. Complexity beat Havu 2-0, lost to Fours 2-1. Extra Salt beat Big. Big haven't looked great lately. Okay, I was on Extra Salt for that. Dignitas over EG. Dignitas have looked great. EG incorporated a new player. Wasn't exactly the greatest showing from EG. Extra Salt beating Dignitas. What? Okay. This team has something there. I'm going to say this now. I don't mean this as disrespect. Forze is the G2 of Tier 2. Why? Because G2 are the Tier 1 frauds. Forze, you're the G2 of Tier 2. Okay? Very frustrating for DFS players to play you all in DFS and us to make a profit.
I don't think that G2 is the fraud anymore of Tier 1.
Don't even say it's Astralis or Virtus Pro, or I will hang up this podcast right now.
Nope. I would say that maybe there isn't one right now. That everyone is kind of in their proper place.
Are you actually giving G2 some respect after the run they had in Blast?
Yeah. I mean,
they struggled. And still got the and still advanced.
So I have a lot of respect for Nexa as an in-game leader.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
So I think that having him can be enough to put them in a legitimate position.
You had
Um, and,
Nico and Hunter and Kenny S with one of the top 10 IGLs. You can argue somewhat top 5 at times. And you have Amanek, who's become a great supportive player. How was that 5 before Jax came in? How is that not a top 10 team? The
uh,
talent alone, the third best player in the world, one of the most talented oppers to play Counter-Strike, and Kenny S. Dude's a legend. You have Hunter, who went bonkers when Nico joined. Nexa just doing his in-game leader thing, and Amanek with support. How did that not become a top 10 juggernaut?
Kenny S is failing or was failing.
So you take out your dedicated opper to have Nico be hybrid, and you bring back in Jack. So I understand the behind the scenes thing that it helped Hunter out. I get it. The friendships, the connection. I understand it. The team got weaker overall, in my opinion. They struggled to get through Blast. At least that was my takeaway from it. Again, I don't get paid tier 1 money. I'm not sitting there 10 hours a day looking at demo video and doing everything else that they're doing. So, but again, for DFS purposes, I just feel like, and the reason I say frauds, and Forza do the same reason, they're frustrating from a DFS standpoint, not a Counter-Strike standpoint. From a DFS standpoint, they are very frustrating to play because when I see G2 struggling, all right, when I see G2 struggle to get through certain games, okay, Forza twice, or at least once against Virtus Pro, they were up 15 to something against them in map 2, and they were having a very tough time closing it out. So it's like, there were just things that I see as just a viewer, and it just it frustrates me. Or like Yukindar going, basically running in and saying, "Hi, everybody," and I'm like, I'm without words. Again, I'm not
Def,
disrespecting the teams, but from G2, I expect way more out of that roster. I understand Nico's been there for several months now. If this was still the first few months, okay. You're incorporating Jax back in. Okay. Nico and Jax are getting used to playing together. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't think Jax was all that good to begin with. He was solid. I didn't think he was this elite player. And if it was a team chemistry thing, I understand Kenny S is struggling and a change needed to be made. I understand that. I get that. I respect it. And that was probably a very tough thing for G2 to do. But that team, from at least from what I saw in the games, to me looked like the G2 was struggling. Okay? Fours, to their credit, have beaten 2 tier 1 teams. This is a middling tier 2 team that lost to the likes of Sprout, Dignitas, and there was like one other. They didn't get more than 10 rounds against those teams in 3 of 6 maps. Each one of those games against Sprout and Dignitas, and there was someone else, and I apologize, I forget who else it was. 2 maps played, both 2-0 losses, couldn't get the 10 rounds on one of the maps. And that's not a massive indicator of anything. Excuse me. It's just, this team with XC Power looked like it had so much potential. They add ZOREE. I really like ZOREE. The kids, there's something there with him. Kensei's been a good addition, but like, Jerry's been around the scene for a while. I heard him say on the telecast. And Almazer is just, he's there. Excuse me, talking so much I need water. Congrats to them, but for DFS purposes, this has not been a profitable event at all. Dan, say something. I need a drink of water over here.
definitely not profitable. And I am, I guess, maybe a little bit of a fan of Forza. I definitely played them quite a bit last summer during the player break. And Kenzie, is definitely intriguing. He was high fragging today. Used to be on Ethereal, which I don't even know. I never even came across them,
I've
but I
heard
know
of
they
them
were
before.
okay.
Again, like a tier 3 team. Like
Yeah. They
tier
I
3
don't
somewhere
believe
around
they
there.
ever. I don't believe they ever made it into any Draftkings. But anyways, yeah, Forza's for me is a flash in the pan. I don't believe that this is going to go much further. Although Harry, one of the announcers, seems to think that they've got something here. I think it's just bad internet connections. To be honest with you, because it just doesn't make any
Are we
sense
seriously chalking this up to bad internet connections?
to go from where they were to where they are now, or there's just no one cares about FunSpark. So and like you know,
All right, so hang on.
who was
Let's address that point because I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
okay.
So let's address that point. And again, all due respect to G2, all due respect to Forza. G2 is a great team. They have great teams on it. They got great strats. I'm not disrespecting them as players. I'm not disrespecting them as strat analysts. But DFS, they are very frustrating to play.
Yes, I agree.
Fours, and this is where we'll get into this. The reason I call them the G2 of Tier 2, Virtus Pro should have stomped them 2-0. Fours is not on Virtus Pro's level. Virtus Pro, realistically, should be the third best team in professional Counter-Strike right now. Behind Gambit 1, Heroic 2, VP's 3. We've seen what VP have done over the last several months. They have looked like a juggernaut. This is a team that went toe-to-toe with Gambit in the IEM Katowice 2021 Grand Final. But I think the analysts were onto something. They've been figured out. Shut down your Kindar. This team is not elite. Kicker isn't stepping up. Sanju's the support player. He's even been doing better than Kicker, in my opinion. Buster,
Yeah, as long as
he
as long as he
comes,
doesn't
he
have to
goes.
find James up.
I mean, if it wasn't for Jame being there, I think VP would in a much worse off spot.
Oh yeah,
Jame
absolutely.
being the opper in IGL, dude is a great IGL and a fantastic opper. But Yakindar is a special talent. He's still young. He's still learning. You only get better with age. The more you learn, the more experience, the more you see different strats. Again, I'm not disrespecting G2. I'm not disrespecting Forza. And I apologize to the G2 fans and the Forza fans and the G2 and Forza organization. I apologize. It's just, as a fan and as a viewer, it's just very frustrating. And then trying to figure out why you let an opera go in a hybrid model and to basically go with all rifles. And it looks like they're struggling. And Forza have come out of nowhere to take down two elite tier 1 teams. I don't know how they did it. They don't have their talent isn't as good as the ones in the tier 1 teams. Are they getting lucky? Is it strats? Or, and again, Forza beat them, so more power to them and more respect to them. Let's talk about your point. We have 4 tier 1 teams in here. Virtus Pro, Big, Evil Geniuses, and Complexity. All 4 tier 1 teams are in the lower bracket. Is this an event where these tier 1 teams, they have DreamHack coming up next week. They're going to have the Blast Spring Finals coming up. We get IEM events coming up. We have multiple big things coming up for these teams. Are they using this to go against top-end tier 2 talent to try out new strats? Or to try out
100%.
different things?
Big didn't ban train. That's all that needs to be said. I mean, they were permanently banning train, and they had thought I can't remember who said it, but they had thought that Big had been practicing on train, so this was practice for Big.
And I mean,
I
like,
mean,
let's put this into perspective. And so what everyone has to realize, and again, this is going to be a little bit of a longer podcast, obviously, so please bear with us. We took this opportunity to remind you all to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. That way, every single time we post a podcast, you all are notified of it. But Dan, one thing we have to realize with these teams, I lost my train of thought. Big, for example, they've been struggling for a couple of months now. One thing you have to realize, folks, I know what I was going to say. Look at that, professionalism. It came back to me. No, but anyway, my original point came back to me. These teams, it's not like they're not practicing. They play what are called scrims or scrimmages against any other team. So Virtus Pro and Complexity and Virtus Pro and Forze could be scrimming against each other, and we don't know because scrims aren't reported on HLTV. Scrims are what you do online to face other teams. In scrims is where you try different strategies, you can try different maps. It doesn't affect your rank, it doesn't affect your points. All right, and that's crucial for like rankings and everything else. Or like for me, if I'm on ESEA and let's say I'm rank, B, there's still a rank out there. If I'm scrimming, my rank isn't going down. If I'm hopping into like pug matches and I lose, my rank's going down. If I win, my rank goes up. But like scrims, where you have a chance as teams to try out different strats, different positions, different roles, or you just want to play and you want to get better. So there's that out there. We don't see that. So you take an official event like this, maybe they're trying some of these things that they've been practicing on. So maybe that's why Big decided, no, we're not going to ban Train. Let's see how it looks in a competitive game before, in a, I don't know if FunSpark's tier 1 or not, but, let's try it in a non-one of the bigger events, and let's see how it is against some other talent. Let's see if we do good, let's see if we don't. Everyone obviously wants to win the 150,000 in the first place, 50,000 a second. It's not, this is chump change. But this isn't like the Katowice $1 million prize pool. So, like, Dan, we have on this slate...
Opportunity cost.
Huh?
It's opportunity cost. So you give up FunSpark in order to practice more for the DreamHack or IEM events coming up.
And I mean, I'm sure they're not going out there to intentionally lose. Obviously, they're going out there to win. There's still $150,000 the first place. But this may give some of these other teams, and not just the tier 1 teams, Forze's clearly been working on stuff. That's why they've looked so good. So they've clearly been stepping up their game. Forze can now go, okay, we can actually compete with these guys. Extra Salt can go, we can compete with these guys. We know how good we are. So not only do some of these teams like to try stats, and maybe they just have bad games. Everyone's entitled to a bad game. But all 4 tier 1 teams are in the lower bracket.
Crazy.
I think that's the most telling. And as we get into today's slate in a little bit, we got Virtus Pro versus Havu and Big versus Evil Geniuses. We will get into that. We'll get into the breakdown and all that other good stuff. I just find it interesting that the 4 tier 1 teams, you have the Juggernaut and Virtus Pro, Complexities look phenomenal lately. Why are they in the lower bracket? Are they trying new stuff? Did they just have bad games? And I mean, Dan, this was kind of a good segue. Do you have anything else we got to say here?
No, but I am. You have definitely convinced me more so than I was before. It just makes some more sense.
I'm not here to convince anyone. Virtus Pro could have just very much had a bad game. Complexity could have just had a bad game. Big clearly are trying to figure some new things out, and Evil Geniuses have a new player to incorporate in their roster that was 3 days signed before this event. That is a lot to ask of anyone, so strategies may be more general. Again, things we can't quantify for DFS, but things you have to be aware of for some team-making decisions. Again, I'm not arguing for this being practice for Tier 1 teams. I'm only playing in the middle saying this is a possibility, or they just got outplayed. And if they got outplayed, then we need to get forced to more events. We need to get extra salt to more events. I want to see more of these teams if this is how good they are. But I'm sorry, there's a little bit behind me saying, are these teams really trying? Complexity? Huh. Looked like they were trying. They just got beat. Virtus Pro? Force pretty much eliminated Jakindar from the picture and beat them 2-0.
Yeah, that was all they needed to do. If you look at his kill to death ratio, it's in sync with how many rounds they won.
It's crazy. Anyway, again, I'm not advocating for them tanking. So I don't think they're doing that. I don't think at the very least they're not trying to win. I absolutely think everyone in any event when there's money on the line on an official competitions, you are playing to win the game. But just because you're
Right.
playing to win doesn't mean maybe you're like, okay, we've been doing these new strategies for the last month. Let's try incorporating some of those and see how they go against in an official competition.
And Adam, the other thing to think about is, that I heard at MSL say they'll try something in a match, and then 2 days later they'll see another team doing it, kind of like they steal it. But so that's definitely a risk, as well as the more information that other teams have, or more officials they can watch, the more info they might have against you. So
Right, and again, it's like, okay, we see this strat, but you have to get everyone on your team to see the same strat and know how to play it.
yeah,
And it'll never execute the same way twice because you're never going to move around the map the exact same way as someone else that did it. You have an idea of what to do, but there were all these different strats and stuff going on. That was a great interview with MSL. I got to finish watching that.
yeah, he's very good.
But so like again, so like, are some of these teams just trying different tactics? And if they are, again, more power to them because you know your go-to, and if you work on stuff to get better. If you try and incorporate it and go, okay, that didn't work, okay, we got from the upper bracket to the lower bracket, okay, no more fooling around, let's retry this back in scrims until we can get it right and really figure it out, and let's just go back to what works. We could come out and see Virtus Pro stomp the bleep out of Havu, tomorrow. That's how good Virtus Pro is.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, like, again, Big could come out and go, okay, we've been working on stuff for months. We still want to win. Let's go stomp these guys and let's figure this out. Things happen.
Can the individuals, yeah,
Right, again, like,
can the individuals overcome the other individuals, basically,
like,
or outplay?
how do you think Gambit went from tier 2 to tier 1 to the best team in Counter-Strike? How do you think Heroic went from, like, tier 2 to tier 1 to the second best team in Counter-Strike to last year, winning ESL 1 Cologne 2020, becoming the number 1 ranked team in the world for a period of time? Things happen. You work on stuff, it's strategies and everything else. I could talk about Counter-Strike for hours. I'm not advocating for or against these teams. I love watching these teams play. It's just from a DFS purposes, it's very tilting because you've had underdog win, favorite win, underdog win because Why Dignitas wasn't the favorite against EG. Again, just tier 2 versus tier 1. Underdog win, underdog win. It's been an underdog upset, which I just find it's interesting. It's made for some tilting DFS, but for some entertaining Counter-Strike, that's for sure. So again, no disrespect to G2, no disrespect to Fours. For DFS, it's frustrating and tilting. When you're sitting there looking at your lineups going, really?
I mean, did you see how many Force buys Forza won, and then Complexity also won on I think, was it Inferno was their first map?
I did
It
not
was
see
like,
that.
oh my god, it was ridiculous. It's like they were winning like every other round, and they were Force buys like for the first 10 rounds.
Crazy.
Poison couldn't even get an up until like round 15 or something. I guess that would be
Anyway,
it. Yeah.
alrighty, folks. So we've taken about a few time with that. Let's actually get into what you all are here for, and that's the DFS. Let's get into the recap of this last, again, insanely crazy double dog winning slate. Lynch 303 with the solo takedown of $5,000 on DraftKings. Congratulations. Again, Dan, I think it's time you and I should start considering one-off captains.
Weird.
Chalky Config was the captain you needed. That's weird and rare, in my opinion.
Yeah.
21.5% owned in the captain spot is a captain that had a solo takedown. Not tied, solo takedown. Very interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably ever have done this for single entry.
It's insane. Again, large field GPP strategy different than single, but I understand your point. Dan, Captain Config, 74 kills, 12 assists, 57 deaths, 8 first kills, 1 1v2 clutch, 3 4Ks, 126.75 Draftkings points in the captain spot. He went bonkers on map 2 and 3. Maps 2 and 3. All right, let's talk about it. 3 extra salt and 2 4s. 3 2 1, what we normally see. Right? We see a 3 2 1. 2 from one team, 1
Yeah.
run back, 3 from another. Kind of, again, what's typical we see of winning a large field GPP. So the extra salt players you needed, and again, take this for what it is. This is interesting. This is the second time we've seen extra salt play. The second time there's no marquee in the winning lineup.
I
OC,
believe Fang has some pretty good stats though. Like it wasn't a
Sonic,
hard
and
decision
Fang.
to
I
pick
think
him.
we need to take Fang more seriously than his overall stats say.
Well, I mean, if you're doing recency like stats, then they kind of are devalued because of the teams they've been playing. But he hasn't been that bad.
So
I don't know
let's
why
take a look
anybody
at
would have
this.
thought.
So here are some highlights. So let's take a look at this. 16 to 6. I don't know why they didn't permaban train. Extra Salt punished them. Big One Dust 2 and Extra Salt beat Big on Nuke, which was interesting. So syrsoN was +4, Akita was +1, Sonic +13, Fang +14, OC +8. If we head to the Extra Salt Dignitas matchup, OC +15, Fang +14, JT was actually +8. That says a lot. I think he's the IGL for Extra Salt. Sonic is +8.
Yeah.
Marky's +2. So Fang has been outplaying Marky now against 2 good teams. Let's keep that in mind for when we see them next versus 4s. But very interesting. I still like Marky. I still think Marky has a lot of talent. Can pop off on any map. I just find it interesting he hasn't been on a winning lineup yet in these 2 games that Extra Salt have played in. So OC, Sonic, and Fang are the 3-man Extra Salt stack you needed. And Flit and ZOREE. This shouldn't surprise anybody. If you just took the dogs and the best players from the dogs, that's what got you there. Flit and ZOREE are the 2 best on 4s. OC, Sonic, Fang. OC and Sonic are the top 2 from Extra Salt. And Fang's been in great form. He had 80 Draftkings points. 2 4Ks. You love to see it.
Love to see it.
Again, you needed the underdogs for this. Anything else you want to review?
Well, maybe one thing is I think Fang's stats are a little inflated from this because the last 2 rounds he got like a 4K and a 3K, or maybe even 2 4Ks. So just saying, he got a lot of points
All adds up
right at the end. But I would, if I decide to play Extra Salt, I'm definitely going to play these 3. Like I'm not even going to, without question, would play these 3.
All right, let's get into today's slate. Again, I apologize, everybody. We are running a little bit long here on time, but we wanted to introduce prize picks to you all. We want to talk about this event before we get into the lower bracket. And this is it, what you all have been waiting for. CSGO, 15K to 15K overall, 5K to first. The clutch, large field GPP. First game on the slate, Virtus Pro versus Havu. Yukindar, the highest priced player on the slate again. Dan, are we falling for this again?
Man, I don't know. I think you could make the argument that ownership might be split, but I mean, I think when people go to set their lineups, they're not going to go with Havu and I think they have a very good chance of winning.
Havu aren't bad.
But
They are not as bad as they looked against Complexity. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
yeah, it's like voting for Trump.
Hey, now, let's keep politics out of this.
Oh, everyone. No, okay, yeah, I won't
Let's
dive
keep
any deeper.
politics out of this. Getting
Anyways,
back to, are we playing Yakindar or not on the slate?
I think I have to just because he's my that's my dog. You know, I've been on Kinder since last summer. No, maybe not last summer, but
Whenever,
um,
whenever he joined Virtus Pro.
when he popped into Virtus Pro, and I just remember I can't remember her name, the female announcer. She was just like stunned by how good he was, and
Potter?
I can still hear. What's her name?
Potter?
Potter. Yeah, I can still hear her saying Yakindar. Oh my God, he's so good. Um, and yeah, I mean, I can't not play him. You know, is what my point is.
I think, and again, if we've learned anything from this event, underdogs are key. Underdogs have been upsetting favorites. I think Virtus Pro put Havu away pretty handily. Let's head over to Pinnacle and let's see if we can pull up these odds here. We're going to go over here to leagues as always. We're going to go over to, look at that, GMS Master Spring. They already got lines up for.
Can't
Get into
wait.
that next
April
week.
29th.
Getting close.
Or
Virtus
19th.
Pro. Oh, this line's interesting. They're a minus 208 favorite against Havu. Massive respect for Havu if they're not a higher underdog.
Yeah.
Big are a minus 155 favorite against EG. Let's keep that in mind as we continue to break down the slate. Dan,
Adam.
are you playing? Can I interest you in playing any Havu?
No. And
Would
there's a
it?
reason for that.
Okay. Would it be too crazy to tell you that I think I'm playing 2-1 Havu?
No, not at
Okay.
all. I am not putting much on this slate either, by the way. I'm
This is
taking like 5% of my bankroll, if anything.
yeah. Keep this in mind, folks. All right. These are they should be close games. EG are still practicing with Mihu. They've only had him for like 5 days on the roster, or however short it's been. Please keep that in mind. EG, well, should they be big? Sure. They're, these games are very interesting to talk about because they can kind of go either way. I think Havu, if you really want to go there in a large field GPP, I think it opens up a lot. It opens up for you to play whoever you want. I don't know if I'd captain Havu. To be perfectly honest, I don't know if I'd go there. But I may go one off Jame captain. Or one off the Kindar captain with two Havu. Hoping that either one of these two keep him in it for Virtus Pro. I can tell you right now in a single entry or a single lineup, I'm not playing Kicker to Sanji. If you want to have the chance on Buster, go for it. I think it's going to be up to you, Kindar and Jame. For Havu, I really like Ariel. I like X7, then ZOREE, Slowy, and Jeme. Coincidentally, that's also how they're listed on the slate. I just don't think this is a ZOREE spot. I believe ZOREE's their upper, and you're going against Jame. No, thank you. I mean, again, he's not playing against 5 James, but Jame can cause fits for people. So I think X7 is going to shine in this game. And as of right now, as of this recording, I'm leaning 2-1 Havu VP. Dan,
Um,
am I crazy?
I mean, I'm not. I can't say no at this point.
What have we seen the last 3 days in this event?
Underdogs.
Underdog favorite, underdog, 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 underdog.
I mean, so the way I guess if you were to take our narrative seriously about um, some of these teams not taking FunSpark seriously, then it would come down to individual talent. And
Your
I would
narrative, sir.
say
Don't put me in with your narrative.
No, that's the wait. That's your narrative.
I
That's
was
your pride.
playing. I was just playing the advocate in the middle. That's all I was doing.
Okay.
I didn't say I 100% agree with it. I just said it's possible. But I'm not.
Okay. Well,
I am not approaching this as in these teams are going in to try new strats. I
you're
will
not.
say. I know I will not. I'm not. I'm giving
Okay.
Havu the respect they deserve. If these teams have figured out Virtus Pro, all Havu need to do is shut down your Kindar.
But can they?
Yes.
And I say no.
Yes. 2 out of 10 times.
Oh, I like this. This is good. I'm glad that we got to this point with this one
I
because
can't eat the chalk in this game to be different on the 2-game slate. I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I may look at my lineup and cry. I think that was whenever our friend Nathan, I think he posted in one of the Discords that we're in. He was like, I played the underdogs, looked at my lineups, and cried. Well, it was something like that. So shout out Nathan. I can't.
hey, why
Look,
would he cry?
look,
Oh, before the
because he
I get
played the
it now.
underdogs today, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you did well.
but again, like let's say it's a perspective. The obvious way you should approach this game is 2 to 3 VP 1 Havu. Right? Because Virtus Pro
Sure.
should stomp Havu. We said the same thing about Virtus Pro stomping 4s, and by the way, Havu's better than 4s. So,
On paper.
uh yeah. But
So I
again,
think this is why I don't think that I'm what is it too biased. I think that the Kinder analysis is pretty sound. If I think that it can't shut him down, then yeah, Virtus Pro, and I don't think they can shut him down. So that's I'm going all in. Kinder captain. He's gonna go like 70-20.
if your Kindar captain goes 70 and 20, I'm just donating.
It was worth it. Worth not taking the risk.
It's crazy. And again, folks, so like again, if I'm MMEing, I'm having more Virtus Pro than Havu. If I'm taking one shot in a large field GPP, I'm not playing to cash, I'm playing to win. I want to go higher risk tolerance. If Havu come out
There
and
you go.
upset Virtus Pro, my 10 to 20% owned guys are way ahead of everyone else's Virtus Pro that are higher round. So again, it's all about it's about risk tolerance.
Yeah, if you want to be over the field or under the field, for sure. But I think that I don't think it's that sneaky to play Havu. Just saying. Um,
They should be the lowest owned on the slate, in my opinion.
really?
Yes, that's
I would.
that's my opinion.
I was thinking EG, but
Oh no, not a
yeah, I
chance.
guess I could see that.
All right, so let's get into it. Second game on the slate: EG versus Big.
Screw
CeRq
big.
CeRq's $5,800. I understand he hasn't been good lately, but 5,800? Are you kidding me? Why? Dan, what are we doing with EG and Big?
I'm playing EG for sure. I think if there's any team that relies more on strategy and team play, it's big. And if they are practicing, or
I
if
mean,
my narrative is true, then and I'm sticking to it, then
I,
they are not going to be showing their hand, and they're going to be saving stuff for DreamHack.
look, that's fine. I mean, let's go into the match page. All right. We see EG permaban Mirage usually. All right. Big until the last time permaban Train.
Yep,
Okay. E-
suspicious.
EG have a choice, and they're already looking at a deficit versus Big from a map pool standpoint. And again, these maps aren't exactly the greatest. If they play Mirage, okay, they play it twice. And that was months ago. That was back on Pro League and Blast. Okay? They have a 0% win rate on Dusto. Zero. Big look at this and do their homework, which I know they will. They're going to go, we're picking Dust 2.
But you don't think EG will ban Dust 2?
Fine. Then Big can pick into Vertigo, or they could pick in a Mirage. There are maps that can punish EG. Vertigo, if this Big team are a good Vertigo team, and they've only played it 4 times, so let's take that into account. Okay? EG's played it 7 times with a 14% win rate. If Big are a decent Vertigo team, EG is still learning strats with incorporating Mihu and Oboe still. They could have a map advantage on either Dust 2, Mirage, or Vertigo. Especially in the close quarters of Vertigo, you have to know things. I was just playing Vertigo the other night with some cool folks, and it's a map where you can hear a lot. So if you're rushing anything, the people, the counter-terrorists up top, can hear all the terrorists little scurrying down below. So it's a very interesting map. It's a very close quarters map. It's a map where a lot of util get used. You have to know your angles. It's a very... I like the map, but you have to really, really know it. So, and a 75% win rate says a lot for me. I just find it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, this could easily go Nuke, Dust 2, Inferno. I think the maps will be very interesting for these teams. Is it going to affect what I think about these teams? No. However, taking in the salary in account here on DraftKings, tabseN is 8,600, syrsoN 7,800, the Opera for Big. Xantares is 7,000, Keto 6,200, and Tizian is 5,200. I think Big are a good spot. Again, they're a favorite. They're a minus 154 favorite, e.g. a plus 127 underdog. I think this is very much an easy 3 big kind of slate, especially if I'm playing Havu. I would rather play Big. Again, if I decide to go 2 Havu, 1 Virtus Pro, I'm playing Big. Why am I playing Big? Because they have a better map pool right now than EG. EG's incorporating a brand new player in Mihu, and Oboe they just got last month, or earlier this month. They're incorporating 2 new players, which means more strats, other than CeRq, different roles, and it's very different. And I mean, your best player on EG that has to carry them right now is Breezy at 8,200. The main rifle fragger for EG. CeRq has been underperforming as an opper, going against syrsoN. Are you kidding me? Give me syrsoN that edge massively in this matchup right now, until we see CeRq come back to form. And CeRq is a really good opper. I need to see it from CeRq first. So, I mean, if you want, you can play Oboe and Mihu. They're definitely GPP plays. They're not cash plays. They're not safe. My opinion. Dan, anything else you like about this game about? Or are you still sticking with EG?
No, I'm probably going to stick with EG. But you convinced me that they will definitely be lower owned than Havu.
Whatever. All right.
I mean, everything you just said makes me think that they're the riskier underdog.
Probably. Alrighty. Let's get these folks out of here. They've been here for almost an hour already. Again, these podcasts aren't going to be this long. But again, debuting our partnership with Prize Picks as being a sponsor for the CSGO Clutch podcast. Again, we really appreciate Prize Picks. We're very excited to bring you Prize Picks content.
Thank you, Prize Picks.
Thank you, Prize Picks. Absolutely. We're going to get you all out of here. We thank you again for listening. Dan, it's time for our core value GPP and team stack segment. Give me one of each.
Core, Yakinder. Value, Tizian. GPP, Mihu.
I'm glad I'm sitting down. You said value, Tizian.
He's 5,200.
Favorite team stack?
Virtus Pro.
You can hear the sound of disappointment in my voice. I'm kidding. All right, so it's not
I
surprising.
just can't see it.
It's fine. Core play for me on this slate. Yakinder. Going right back to the well as
Nice.
a core play. Again, I'm saying core, but he ended up giving my one off. Value on this slate. ZOREE's at 6,000. CeRq at 5,800. Shouldn't be that low. GPP on this slate is going to be Ariel X7. Also, for what it's worth, I'll give you another large field GPP play. Tabson 8,600. Again, he's the highest owned big player for reasons I don't quite understand. Captain Tabson could be under-owned. So if you want to go Captain Tabson in a large field GPP, I think that's going to be coming a lot lower owned than obvious. I think Tabson's going to be pretty decently owned, but Captain Tabson could come in at sub 10%. My opinion. My favorite team stack on the slate is Big, just to get different. Virtus Pro is probably my number one still, but Big my number two. Alrighty, Dan. Let's get into it. Let's see if we get some prize picks here for Counter Strike. All right, so nothing quite yet for prize picks. So for everyone, again, for our partnership with prize picks, we will give you who we like on Twitter for this night only. All right, so we're gonna give you who we like on Twitter. If you know us on Discord, we're gonna post some stuff in different Discords, like Main Event Discord or wherever it is that we're gonna post. Teaser, we have other stuff coming soon. And again, once we launch our Twitter account later in the week, we'll have this stuff on there as well. I may even edit this video just to give you a quick snapshot of who the prize picks are. It'll be in the description down below, along with the link. Dan, I think we should kind of give the people the link, shouldn't we?
Oh, definitely.
We should give the people the link. If you want to try out prize picks, use the promo code CLUTCH. That's again promo code CLUTCH. And that helps all of us out and helps you guys out. You might actually get a little something with that. You might get a little deposit bonus. I'm actually not quite sure. We'll definitely check.
We haven't settled that yet, have we?
I'm not quite sure. We'll definitely be figuring that out with our fine folks over at Prize Picks. But Dan, anything else
Adam,
you want to talk about? Anything else, or we can head out of here?
I'm gonna be a dad.
Hooray! Congratulations. That's exciting. That is very, very exciting. Congratulations, my friend. You still there? Dan? I think Dan went on mute. Hello? Yoo-hoo! Okay, technical difficulties. We lost Dan. Anyway, oh, look who decides he wants to come back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Future dad right here.
There you go. Congratulations, my friend. All right, for Dan, you can follow him on Twitter at Wandelch, WANDELCH. You can follow me on Twitter at AdamWX21. Again, looking out for our prize picks on our Twitter accounts. Be looking for them in the Discords that we're in. Be looking for them. I'm going to post in the description below the updated prize picks once they are released and what we will decide to go with, over or under. We'll post them below. Use the promo code CLUTCH as well when you're signing up on prize picks. For Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.